Well, a very good evening to you. I hope you're having a lovely night. This is Pandit Night. You're watching the home of untold stories. Now, as Kenyans prepare to participate in the most competitive election in the country's history, the major players are keen on locking their traditional strongholds and also are leaving nothing to chance in attempts to assuring that women have their place in decision-making tables, as well as secure. And with the opinion pollsters revealing that the two front-runners in the election, Azimio's Raila Odinga and Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto, are almost at par in their appeal to that important constituency. One of the major game changers in the coming election will be convincing the undecided women vote. Tonight on Pandit's Night, we have a panel of women plus a female host, me, Mariam Wacharo, who will be moderating this particular interview. And in studio, I have with me lovely guests who we will get into it. We have the lovely Patience Nyange, who's the gubernatorial aspirant for the Taita Taveta constituency, and engineer Edith Mwirigi, who, one thing that I'd like to note, one of the questions that did come through a lot is how you pulled out of the UDA party. So who is also an independent candidate aspiring for the MCA seat in Meru County. Right. Yes, women rep, women rep. Thank you very much, ladies, for making time to join us on this particular show. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Let's get right on to it. Throughout the history of this country, we have looked at a patriarchal society. We've seen men most of the time taking up leadership roles in many positions, not just the presidential position, vice presidents. We've seen men ruling all through. Now, based on this particular history, why would we have to select women? Let's start with engineer here. Why vote in a woman leader?
First of all, let me say thank you for having us today. My name is Edith Mwirigi. I'm a woman rep, or I'm a county woman representative aspirant for the Meru County. Let me say, being a woman is nothing special, in as much as we're saying that we need women considered in the high positions and in leadership. There's nothing special with being a woman. Only that our society has made it so hard for women to be part of the leadership, and that's why we always talk about being a woman. But I think we form an equal part of the society, and we deserve a 50% share of what comes with leadership and everything that comes with all the goods and all the shares that come with the society in terms of growth and leadership. So as for me, I don't think being a woman makes someone should be a coin to demand for something just because you're a woman. We deserve an equal share of the society.
All right. Yeah. What are your 2 cents on that particular issue, Honorable Patience Nyange?
Thank you for inviting me. My name is Patience Nyange, a gubernatorial candidate from Taita Taveta County. First, I must say it's a beautiful time to be a woman. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. We've come such a long way. And I think nationally and internationally, leadership positions for women have been accepted. It's been a long journey for women, and now when we see more women coming in and vying for various elective positions, for us it gives us a joy to know that we've come a long way and we are there. We matter, we are capable, we can do it, and really, as she said, it's really nothing special being a woman. When it comes to leadership, anyone can be a leader, be it a man, be it a woman. What you bring on board is what really matters. So for me, at this particular point, I am very excited to see many women coming out and vying for the various elective positions. In 2013, if you remember, for example, on the gubernatorial seat, we didn't have any woman aspirant.
Yes.
Or rather, if they were there, we did not get any. We had aspirants, but we did not get any who became a governor then. And then in 2017, we had at least 3 women. This time round, we have about 23, 24 women aspiring to be governors in the country. And Taita Taveta County had 3 women aspirants. So for me, I am excited to be a woman at this particular point.
Of course, when we talk about women in leadership, we cannot escape the fact that in our country today, in these particular times, women have had so much more hurdles as compared to men. What is your experience on that particular issue? What are your challenges? What were your challenges throughout your vying for this particular seat in politics as compared to the same with our male counterparts?
That should be me.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So women, I compare politics like a marathon race. When you get into a race, women have a bigger, it's like they have a chain on their feet.
Yes.
We are not the same as men. The society has given us more responsibilities. You get into the field when you're a mother. You get into the field when you have challenges, social challenges as a woman. There's the social norms and expectations that are pegged on you. So we start the race at a very unfair advantage, at a disadvantage. So let me give an example. When I got into national politics, this is my first time in national politics. So I've served as a student leader before at the University of Nairobi. When I joined, I really wanted to belong to a political party. And I made so many futile attempts that led me to become an independent candidate. I don't say that's a challenge that faces just women, but it's just new aspirants that try to get into political parties. But I think as a new entrant, it's led to me being discriminated in these political parties. It doesn't, it's not just women that go through that. But now I'm looking at a situation whereby we have women, not just the national leaders. I'm talking about the MCAs, women MPs, especially in this position, the MP position and the gubernatorial position, we have very few women who are vying for these positions. The challenges that come with that are many. I would say I had challenges, but I can't compare to a woman who's going for a member of parliament position. I can't compare to a woman who's going for the gubernatorial position because I'm running against fellow women.
Yes.
I still have challenges, but when I look at the women who are vying against men, they have more challenges than I do. In my case, in Meru, my challenges are I am a young aspirant vying against women, mature women who've been in business, who've amassed maybe wealth. They have experience in their business and everything. It's not that they're better than me.
Yes.
But you cannot take away the factor, the financial challenge as a young aspirant who is a woman. So I don't want to say there's a challenge I'm going through because I'm a woman, because I'm vying against other women. Well, my experience is as a young woman, I can talk as a young woman who's vying against other women who are more mature than me. My challenge is mainly financial challenge, but I don't think it's a major challenge because the electorates are educated. The voters listen to you in as much as you're financially challenged, they get to listen. But there are some who get to really demand something, something out of your candidature. Because they're like, why did you get into this? You don't have the money. So that's the main challenge. But I soldier on. I can't talk much because I'm running against women. Maybe my colleague here.
Let's get back to you, Honorable Patience Nyange. Tell us, what were your challenges throughout your political journey? Because this is not the first time, right? So what are your challenges? What challenges did you encounter vis-a-vis, you know, men in this political arena?
Yeah, it is my first time to be in the race. So ideally, I think I share in her sentiments. It is a double work for women. You have to really work triple or double, put in more effort to be considered relevant. So ideally, you start from, as she said, a level that is not, a playing field that is not level. You get to the field and the first conversation is, why you? Who is she?
Yes.
You know, and they look at you, and as she says, they judge you from your age, and they go like, and you know, from my society, yes, no experience, you are such a novice, you are a newcomer. There are all sorts of names to describe you. Ideally, you are playing against, and for me, I was the first woman to declare my interest in running for this seat. At that time, we had at least about 7 or 8 male candidates, and I said, I'm going to put myself there, because for me, well, I looked at those Taita Taveta, no woman aspirant there, and I tried to get in touch with the ones that had run before in 2013 and in 2017. And when the response was, no, we are not running, I'm not running, one, Madam Jacinta Matela ran in 2017 and also in 2013. And so when I approached to ask her whether she was going to vie this time around, she said no. So I knew she was the only hope that we had. And so I asked myself, if she's not there, who else? And then I asked myself, why not me? I looked at all the qualifications that are required as the constitution, I mean, which is really our guide. And when I ticked all the requirements, I spoke to people who I called my mentors. I spoke to people who I consider that they will be my supporters through this journey. I spoke to my family and I said, oh, well, I think I qualify for this position. And the first thing when you go there, everyone asks you, why didn't you come for women representative position? Why wouldn't you want to be considered for a deputy position? And my answer has always been, why not? Why not? Why do I look like I should start from somewhere? Because I looked at the two previous governors who have held these positions before in Taita Taveta County. They came from nowhere just like I did. And they were there and they were accepted. And because they're male, there are no questions about that. But because you're a woman, people have a class of where you should start from somewhere, not at this level. I said, no, this is where I want to start because they know I'm capable, because they know I've ticked everything and I'm qualified. And so then the conversation starts. And of course, you know, you've announced this through the social media platform. So there's a lot of bullying on social media. There's a lot of cyberbullying. You wake up in the morning and the whole conversation is about you. And there are many other, in my community, in my county, we are 13 now, the ones that have been cleared by IEBC. But there is a conversation almost about you every day, because you are the woman who is there, who is there in the rest. So we were three initially, 3 women, and then of course one left or rather stepped down through this rest. So now we are 2, but there's much more conversations about the women.
Would you say that this could have led to some sort of, you know, mental instability and decided, you know, some of the women decided to pull out of the race because of this particular attack, you know, cyberbullying?
I think I wouldn't probably say, for the one in Taita Taveta, it was about the party conversations and the party primaries when they happened, then she didn't get the ticket. But in other places, because I have gone for meetings with other women aspirants, and I would say, yes, that has happened a lot. And people have come out and confessed that they were in the race before. And I remember when we held a meeting with FIDA in 2021 last year in September, the room was full of women. And then as we held another meeting in December, there was a significant number of women that had already stepped down. And by the time we were doing a similar meeting in March, their number had tremendously gone down. And most of them will tell you, I have gone through cyberbullying, I can't deal with it.
Yes.
My family keeps getting, gets abused almost on a daily basis. It has become about me. It's about personalities and not issues. And so most of the time people really want to ask themselves, do I really want to be here? And sometimes people say, okay, I don't want to be here. But of course, as we say, the second challenge is really about the funding.
Yeah, funding, which is very key. And a lot of women aspirants we have spoken to, they did say that to some extent, those who pulled out, it was because of funding.
Yes.
They could not get funding. Parties were also, doing some shenanigans, and they cannot support young women. Yeah. So how true is that according to your experiences? If I may start with engineer here.
We have a lot when it comes to political parties. Political parties purport to be supporting women.
Yes.
Most of them, the nomination fee for women and youth were subsidized. Let me say, to some, the nomination fee for women and youth were the same. To some, maybe the youth were, like in my case, I paid less than women who are beyond the youth bracket. All in all, there was an advantage of being a young person and a young person and a woman. Yes. But now beyond that, nothing much was done. Because after now you get the subsidized rates, like my money went to waste because I never got to the nomination stage because of the challenges that that came with being during the party primaries. So I would say that political parties, beyond just subsidizing the nomination fee for women, there needs to be they need to do much more. We need to have an incubation for young women and upcoming women. Let them be deliberate when giving positions, especially for young women who get into political parties. Let them be given responsibilities. You learn the party structures. You become maybe a party treasurer as a young woman. You get to learn the structures and maybe to get exposed to political matters. So women mentorship doesn't have to just be subsidizing the party nomination fees. It starts from the incubation stage, whereby as a young woman you're given roles in a political party, regardless whether you have money or not. The party needs to trust its women with responsibilities, even empowering them, training them, exposing them to various activities and issues in our country. So I feel like parties are not doing enough
Yes, and on that same note,
Yeah.
I did speak to one of the MCA aspirants here in Parklands. She's now pulled out of the race because she said of what the party officials took her through. There's a lot of sexism in the parties that is going on, a lot of trolling. You asked, do you have a husband? Why do you have your husband? Why don't you put your husband on the side and let's talk matters politics, because he may not understand. Are these the same aspects that did meet you in your political party?
Not necessarily, but most women go through discrimination because of financial challenges. You find that parties are giving priority to those people who have contributed much to the parties.
Okay.
How much have you given the party? How much have you contributed in a party? How much money have you spent on this party? Have you, if a party is new, how many people did you register into the party?
Yes.
So basically, most of the major challenges are the commitment into the party. I'm not trying to say these sexism and other challenges are not here, but the major challenge is that what are you giving to this party? That's why most young women, it's very hard for young women and even for young men to penetrate into party ticketing.
Yeah.
I have so many friends who have lost this, and many have given up. But there are few who are going independent, like I am doing that.
Yes.
But even sexism is an issue, only that most women in leadership choose to just not talk about it. Because when you get into politics, you don't expect a church situation, a fairground.
It is murky, it is very, very dirty.
So most women don't even talk about what they go through. But the major challenge is parties really give attention to people that invest in them.
Okay.
Let's not lie to ourselves. Though there are situations whereby we have young women who are lucky,
Empowered.
who are empowered
By parties?
very young women, by the way.
And I see you smiling all through her speech, as she's talking, and you're smiling, and it's like you remember these moments, the same moments you went through as well. Let's say, how much have you given to the party? You're vying on an ARC ticket.
Yes.
How much have you, given to the party, if you can be quite vivid with the number? Or would you say that funding is actually, a setback for most women, or rather most young women joining politics today?
It is. And I think when I went for a meeting initially with political parties at some point that again was held by FIDA, we went through the requirements of political parties and the understanding with a lot of parties have halved the amount to be paid by women, and she said young women as well, or the youth. So it's different figures depending with different parties, but the truth is the amount is significant, is huge. So a lot of people really at that time can't. I remember during that time when we were running to ensure that we all have parties, there were a lot of calls from many people saying, will you be able to help me? I need support to be able to be part of this party, and the requirement is this amount. And many people for sure cannot trace the amount that is required. There are parties that are charging up to 500,000. Others are charging up to 250,000. So for women, where parties are charging 500,000, then there's of course half is 250,000.
Yes, definitely.
So for newcomers and for people who've been in the field for that long time, it's a huge amount of money to pay.
Yes.
And so yes, I understand and I share her sentiments that there are many people who have had. I mean, at this time we're all talking about our experiences. It's been about for those who probably started earlier and for those who started during maybe 1 year into the political time with like me. I mean, 1 year has been a long time. I could easily write a book and share, all my experiences for the last 1 year. But I understand that sometimes even the parties and the 2027 politics, I mean, there's a lot of 2027 politics at play.
Yes.
So the consideration of who really takes this seat during this time in a political party are conversations that are being done behind doors. So sometimes you hear you've been called and you've been asked, we have given you a position as a deputy governor. And you're like, but I wasn't part of that conversation.
Yes.
I was here to fight for the governor position.
Yes.
Or you're called another day and you're told, we have given the governor position to somebody else and would like you to run for the women rep position. And the question, my answer is, but why? I wasn't consulted. I am here to vie for the governor position and not the deputy position and not the women rep position and not the senator position. My position, this is the position that I'm interested in. So you really have to stand strong as a candidate and as a woman to be able to stand your ground and say, I have supporters, I have people who are rallying behind me.
Yes.
I have had conversations with people who are supporting me and are walking the journey with me. me. It's not a decision that you wake up in the morning and decide, I want to change now, or I have accepted that. It's not an offer.
Yes.
And many women need to understand that this is not an offer. When you present yourself for elective position, it's a long conversation that you have had to have with family, with you, for example, people who support you. Some of us have had to resign our jobs.
It's true.
So it's really a very traumatic experience for anyone calling you and telling you, we have decided, when you are not consulted,
that you're going to take a particular position instead of the particular position that you're actually vying for.
Yeah, so discrimination against women is really rampant in many political parties.
Okay.
Yes, and so again, the conversation, some others have been there, and sometimes when you ask, so who is your preferred candidate? Why will you say that would be your preferred candidate? Some of the things are, he's male. So why? I'm female and I'm okay with being female. I'm a woman and I'm okay with being a woman. Why will that be a consideration?
Yes, talk about, female representation.
Yes.
And we do have the 2/3 gender rule that Kenya to date is still struggling, to achieve. What does the 2/3 gender rule mean to you, and how soon do you feel that Kenya will be ready to achieve this particular rule?
I want to believe that, for me, I had really longed and looked forward and prayed actually that it was going to be passed during that time. And now, of course, there have been conversations with parties ensuring that they have met the 2/3 gender role threshold. A lot of them probably haven't, or I really don't know, but I want to believe that that requirement needs to be emphasized. That requirement needs to be made mandatory for all political parties to be able to achieve the same before they're cleared to, to have their candidates run for these positions. I think this time round, as we're saying, in 2022, we have seen more women coming, running for these elective positions. More women are now bold enough to say, I will vie for specific positions, and age notwithstanding. So the days where, you have to be told you have to get to 50 and then you can vie for a specific position.
Yes.
No.
Long gone.
Long gone. Yeah, we have many previous young women like this one here.
Yes.
Yeah, and who are below 35 and are saying we are ready. And even in my county, we have a number of young women who are running for various positions. And for me, it's very encouraging. And even as we are running, I have many inboxes from young people who are saying, in 2027, I will not be 35, but I'll be in the rest as well. So age, we have to change this narrative with many of us coming and vying for these political seats. And I hope and pray that I will, get the seat in Taita Taveta. It will be a proof that we can do it, age notwithstanding.
Yes. Engineer Edith, what does the 2/3 gender rule mean to you, and how soon do you think Kenya will be ready to actually actualize this particular rule? Now that you say, political parties are criticizing and discriminating against women, choosing women for particular positions. Why don't you start in this particular position? Did you face the same, and do you think Kenya, when will Kenya be ready to actualize the 2/3 gender rule?
Let me say the journey has been promising. From the times of the likes of Phoebe Asio. These are the women that have really fought for the affirmative action. If we talk about Martha Karua in 2007, she presented a bill in the parliament seeking she was seeking for 50 more women to be part of the parliament. But that bill was shut down.
Yeah.
If you can remember that, that was in 2007. There are other women that really pushed for the affirmative action. So I think the process is slow, but we are making steps towards the right direction. So after that, now after the 2010 constitution, that's when we had the 47 position for the women representative. That's a step towards the right direction, in as much as there's a lot of concern that women are given things for free. Then men are not allowed to go for these positions, but I think it's a step towards the right direction. But we're not yet there, right?
Yes.
We are not there. We're not yet there because now in this parliament, these positions I think it's sort of a flower girl's position. The allocation per constituency for a woman representative, just 7 million shillings.
Yes,
annually.
Yes.
Really, how much can you do for a county with 7 million, for a constituency with just 7 million shillings?
Yes.
So I tend to think these positions were just there to just have women in parliament. Not to really serve.
They want the 2/3 gender rule, so there you have it. Let's have women representatives.
Have women, let's have young people just sitting here in the house. But you're not the same. You're members of parliament, but with very different abilities, with different empowerments. And that's why you have many women who have many battles to fight in their constituencies and counties, because the electorates don't understand that you don't have enough money to serve them.
Yes.
So most women reps, women representatives in various counties are mocked. You hear that this one is just buying us gumboots, sanitary towels, she can't do anything else. But there needs to be civic education, that people need to know that this seat is not empowered. And there are many women representatives that have fought for increase in allocation in this position.
Yes.
But it's taken forever, and I hope it's something that can be done in future. And I really hope this position can be empowered. You know, a woman member of parliament is like an MP.
Yes.
Actually, you should be more empowered by more than a member of parliament who's just running one constituency. You are in charge of all the constituencies in your county. But this position, I tend to deem it as a flower girl's position. And there's something needs to be done in terms of allocation, in terms of empowerment, in terms of responsibilities, because there's a lot of replication of roles. A woman representative does so many things that are done by other members, maybe by members of parliament, MCAs.
Yes.
You don't have definitive roles as a woman representative.
As a woman representative.
So it looks like a flower girl's position to me.
Okay, in leadership, we'll come to the funding part, but in leadership, both of you bring a wealth of experience from different fields. You as a student leader, did you ever think at one moment, and you know, Mheshimiwa Nyange there from media as well, did you ever think at any point in your life that you'd actually come and take up this particular leadership role? Was it in you from the moment you were a student leader?
Well, I think leadership is a cult. I would call it a cult because you're not sure when's the next time you're joining this. Because even in student leadership, when I joined the student organization of Nairobi University, it was very accidental. I didn't plan to be a student leader. So I find leadership as a cult, because you try once and then the next time you're there repeatedly, because I served for 3 terms. Same case when I got, I didn't plan to be in the national leadership, for sure.
Yes.
But now I have young people who are telling me, because I served the University of Nairobi for 3 years, I have very many people, young people in Meru, telling me that you need to proceed with what you started at the University of Nairobi. You helped students get loans, secure loans on time. You really fought at the University Senate for students. Why don't we proceed with this agenda nationally? So I got a lot of inspiration, encouragement from former students from University of Nairobi who hail from Meru. I was also encouraged to know that people still believe in me, and so I said, why not? Let's do this. Let me listen to what people are saying and telling me, and give it a try.
Okay.
So it's sort of encouragement and inspiration from the people that I served. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Mheshimiwa Nyange, tell us why the shift all of a sudden from media and then, you know, to other leadership roles, and then now gubernatorial aspirant. Did you ever think that you'd be here one day?
Yes, I think I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something that has been a calling for you since you were young?
Yes. I think, I mean, it's as simple as taking the leadership roles within school. Like for me, I have held my leadership roles all the way from primary school. I was a prefect all my formative years. And I think class 7 and 8, I was a head girl. And then I went to high school, I was a prefect all my 4 years.
Wow.
And then also in campus, I was also a residential assistant in my 4 years I was in Daystar University. And so I think it builds up. You get almost used to this, you know, roles of representing. You're always there to represent the students. You are there guiding the students on what needs to be done when you need to. So, and I think for primary school is where the teachers will select class monitors. So ideally, there's something that the teachers will see in you for you to become the prefect. And the same thing for me, even in high school, it was the same thing. We didn't elect our prefects; they were elected by teachers. So I think from all my formative years, I have held these leadership positions, and I think that also within my career as well, I have done a number of roles. And I think within my age, in my first board member position, which I held at the Association of Media Women in Kenya, I was only 27 years. So that gave me a good understanding of what it is needs to be. I mean, what you need as a person to be in leadership position. It gives you the challenges of understanding the nitty-gritties of running an institution. You also understand what politics, you know, office politics, and how to manage through the same, how to navigate through the same. And I think after that, the other position that I held during that time was I became a board member for Emerging Leaders Foundation. So that too gave me an understanding of how it is an institution is run. And then also remember I've served as a board member for Media Council of Kenya.
Yes.
I have also served as a delegate at large representing Africa at the Global Alliance for Public Relations and Communications Professionals. I have held about 6 different board management positions. So all this cumulatively, you have an idea, this is how you run an institution. And for them understanding that this is where you sit and there is an institution and there is a number of people that you are managing or human resource that is there. But again, I look at this position and I see it's not a one-man show. You don't do it alone. You come on board with the deputy governor, you come on board with ministers. So there's every person who is coming and bringing their wealth of experience into the package. So it's really not about patience, Nyange. You are leading or you're steering the ship into the right direction, but there's really a team of people working with you. And that experience is always evident during this time of electioneering period, because you have a team, you have a secretariat, you have a number of people almost on a day-to-day basis you are working with.
Yes.
And everything that you do, the execution of a day in political field is a tough day. You are answering calls from all over the county, and especially for her and mine, is really a county position. And sometimes it's really hard to convince the electorate, I'm not here today. You can only be at one place at a time.
Yes.
And it's you that they want to see. So it becomes very tricky, but you need to understand that you have ambassadors who are working with you, and they are your representatives in the various constituencies we are not able to be. So like when I'm in Nairobi, I am not in Taita Taveta County.
Yes.
If I am in Voi, I am not in Mwatate, I am not in Undani, I am not in Taveta. You can only be at one place at a time. And so really the understanding is all that experience, you bring it together and say, well, I am able, I understand. And in my entry into public relations, I worked for the Ministry of Devolution and Planning. And that time really, for me, it was my understanding of what devolution is all about. So now I use the same experience in understanding where my county is, and I see 9 years after devolution, we really have lagged behind. There's a chance for us to recreate our county, to reimagine our possibilities, to engineer our chances again. And I know for sure we need to change. So just really knowing that you have dreams and aspirations that push you into this role, then you wake up with a renewed hope that I have leadership element in me. I know I can do it. I know I'm capable as a leader, and I'm happy to do this.
And I will tread on the murky political waters.
Road. Yes, it is murky.
It's very murky.
It is very murky.
Many women leaders speak about how murky the political field is for them. But
I think every woman should document their high experiences. Should write a book, and it should be. I mean, it's a good thing to talk about these experiences.
So you have different experiences and challenges that you face?
I'm sure some are similar. Yeah, I share in her sentiments. When she speaks, I understand what she's gone through. And I'm sure when I speak, she probably understands what I'm going through.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Kenya, we have really commercialized our politics. So what she's going through is exactly what I'm going through in my community. But of course, when you come in as a woman, it's different. And when you come in as a woman in a first timer, it's even harder. You know? And then also, which position are you coming in as a woman? You're coming in as a governor? Are you capable? You know, they look at you and they already judge you by many things.
Just by your gender, not your experience, not what you tell the people.
Yeah, and of course, you know, as we said, I come from a very patriarchal society.
Yes.
And of course, so the understanding is, you know, the first of a leader or for that position, what they see is a man, and it's not a man who is young, it's a man in her 50s. There's research has really proven Taita Taveta leadership is what they see as a man. So disrupting that status quo, which is what I am happy to do, and I am very happy to work hard to disrupt that status quo for the sake of the generations behind us. We really have to work hard to prove yourself relevant, to prove yourself I can, and I think we have come a long way. And even now, you know, I use the hashtag Aminia Mama in Taita Taveta County. And for the first time, I'm calling people and rallying everyone else to believe in women. We are capable and we can do it.
Let's take a short break at that particular juncture. But when we come back, I'll take a look at some of the comments that have been coming through on our social media platforms. Also, we ask you, do you think that the society is ready for a woman leader? Don't go too far. We'll be back with so much more.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Well, thank you very much for keeping it TV47. You're watching Pandit Night. Tonight, we're talking matters leadership and women in politics. What are their challenges? We are here in studio with Gubernatorial Aspirant Patience Nyange, as well as Women Representative Aspirant in Meru County, Engineer Edith Mwirigi here. And we were just, before the break, we wanted to come to some of your comments here on our social media pages. We have George Maroa George saying equal gender representation is a constitutional requirement. Equal opportunity is what people need. And Charlene Mongare there, I've also received your comment. Somebody here asked, who were you looking up to while you were, working your way through the political journey? Who are you looking up to, Engineer?
I could name so many women that inspire me. Internationally, there's Helen Johnson Sirleaf. We have Kamala Harris. There are women like Angela Merkel. These are women that have really beat all the odds of life to get to where they are. Locally, in my society, there are women that really inspire me, like our Chief Justice, Martha Karua.
Yes.
We have women in business, not just political leaders. There are women in Meru, there are Meru women in business that really inspire me as well. And politically, I look up to Martha Karua. This lady has gone through a lot. She had a chance to amass wealth in her leadership. She had a chance to really become selfish and forget about the interests of our country. So if women would really forget about the gender card and focus on their capabilities and forget that we are the weaker, I don't like the weaker gender perception.
The weaker gender, yes.
We are equally up to task. If you drive along Mombasa Road nowadays, in Nairobi or in any other county, women drive very big cars, they drive very big vehicles. Gone are the days whereby women used to drive small cars or they're not even driving at all. So that means the society has come to a level, at a level point, where we might not be there 50-50%, but we're making steps. So now we need to get done with the perception that women are the weaker sex. With that in mind, we can't go far. I won't dispute the fact that we have women who are very much into corruption, into corrupt activities.
Yes.
Being a woman doesn't protect you from society vices. But now you cannot now use the gender card again and say that now these people are really fighting me because I'm a woman. I've seen women who are really part of the major corrupt scandals in our country who pull the gender card.
Yes.
And being a woman doesn't protect you from doing the right thing in our society. So let women not hide let women not hide under the gender card to be part of the society vices. Again, even in our moral expectations, so many women take advantage of the card that they're women. So I don't think it's good. We need to really take advantage of the society viewing us as a weaker sex, but we need to come up and view ourselves as equal to the male counterpart, in as much as we're not yet there. Yes, because we have so many challenges, we have so many responsibilities in our families, we are mothers, we run our houses, so we can't really say we are the same level with men, but we can do equally well with our male counterparts.
Yes. Mheshimiwa mtarajiwa Patience Nyange, who are you looking up to while you were thinking through your political journey?
Yes, so I must mention that I'm a product of women. All my former bosses have been women, coincidentally. Yes. I started in Barak FM with my boss being Sheila Maina. Later in Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation, my boss was Pamela Mahos. And then at the British Broadcasting Corporation, my boss was Sheila Masinde. And then I worked for Madam Anne Waiguru. And then I worked for Madam Kaguri Mbogori. And all of them to me are really my mentors. So those are women who have really grown me because I have lived through their stories. I have lived through their journeys. They have mentored me through my leadership roles. And then when it comes to political field and internationally, we share the same people that we're looking up to. I have Angela Merkel, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and then Hillary Clinton. I have read their books over and over again and again. And I love the stories. I can tell the stories even if I'm asleep or in the shower. And then of course my new sensation, Kamala Harris. She won and I felt like, oh, here, I was really rooting for her and praying and that, what, I hope she's gonna win. She wins. And of course she won. And I felt like this for me really inspired us. All of us looked at the United States of America and said, if they could come this far, even Kenya could get to a place. And that's where we are today. And then, of course, locally or nationally, of course, we have my party leader, Charity Ngilu, Martha Karua, who is now, we are hoping that she's going to become our first deputy president. We also have, of course, Samia Suluhu. I put her on this side, but because she's East African, but of course internationally as well. And then I have Madam Anne Waiguru. I have lived through her stories. I have read through her stories. Her, you know, the whole idea that she's not giving up on this role, and she's there. And then, of course, in my county, we have Madam Naomi Shaban. She served as the MP in Taveta for 4 terms now. So, you know, for sure, she's really struggled to be there and proven that she can be there and a woman can be. And then when it comes to people who schooled together or who have been here before me, the likes of Naisula Lesuda. So I know that she can, I can. Yes. We were in the same room. She's walked this journey. And yeah, I look at her and we have had conversations. And I know when I did, she asked me, are you sure? Are you really ready for this? And I said, yes, you are once. You asked yourself the same questions once. Yes. And here you are, 2 terms. You did the first term as a senator candidate, and then, of course, a nominated senator, and then you came in as an MP. She, I mean, broke the record there. And yeah, disrupted the status quo in Samburu. And I look at her and I'm like, okay, well, she can do it, I can do it. So I think we have so many women. Now we have a number of women and names that we can throw around to say there are many people we can look up to. Their stories are our stories. And so their journeys mean that we can also get somewhere. Their journeys inspire us. And for me, these are women that I can easily say, every person here, that the name I've mentioned here, they have contributed, whether they know it or they don't know it. The likes of Hillary Clinton, I read her books, but her books inspire me. Yes. I've read the stories of the books of Kamala Harris. Her books inspire me. I haven't met them, but of course I know that their journeys are journeys that inspire my life.
They have built your character.
Yes, yes.
I saw Mheshimiwa Engineer here nodding your head, smiling while she was speaking. That brings us to the next question. Do you think that a leadership that has a woman is a different kind of leadership that has a man?
Definitely.
Yes.
It's different.
How different is it?
Women, let me say women pay attention to detail. It's a fact. When you have women leaders in, let me give an example of parastatals. In private companies as directors, most women perform well. Of course, there are exceptions. When we have women, the 3 women gubernatorial candidates that we had, the late Joyce Laboso, we have Honorable Charity Ngilu, we have Honorable Waiguru. Majority of them have performed really well. But women have challenges. We really can't compare them with their male counterparts. Let me give you an example. In our constituency, like up to now, we've had it's just one constituency that has women vying for the MP position. I would not say that these women are not capable. And if a woman has a chance in that constituency, for example, yes, I expect them to perform better than their male counterparts. But for them to get there, they need to work extra harder, because now there's the societal perception that women cannot become members of parliament. It's still there. Yes. It's still in the back of the mind of the electorates. In as much as they don't express it, women are perceived not to take this position. You should go for the woman, for the small positions that are set for women. So now, saying that women are not capable, I don't think it's the right thing to say that women are not capable, but the perception makes them look like they're not capable of being leaders. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Patience, please tell us. Some, of course, the same on the same particular issue. What do you think? What are your 2 cents on that particular issue? That a leadership with women is a different kind of leadership? It's a better kind of leadership?
It is a better kind of leadership. And in my understanding is we see things differently. We view things differently. When take an example of your home. There's a time you get into the house and this man has been seated there the whole time, and you get there and you're like, something wrong. You see it, right? That's what I meant.
Yes.
That there's always something you see as a woman. And we have something like an innate feeling in us. We always want to see things corrected. We want to correct the mess in a way. And so in most of the time, for me, I always tell people there's nothing for us without us. There are things you cannot explain when the women are not there. You cannot explain childbirth because you haven't gone through childbirth. Sure. You can't explain issues like menstruation because you haven't been through the pain. You know, it's that you need to bring people, you need to bring women to sit in the table where it matters most, to be part of the decision-making processes where, you know, they can bring in their contribution, they can speak on behalf of women, they can look at things differently. And of course, we've always said that there are two genders and we all see colors differently. We could all be looking at the same color. Somebody says purple, I see red. Somebody says, you know, that's the whole idea, that we bring something different to the table. We look at it differently. Like for me, when I look at my county and all the time I'm asking myself, why does it have to be looking this dirty? And I have plans of how to beautify the county. I have plans of how to make it look differently, how to make it appealing. When people are, you know, as you drive off to Mombasa, when you get to Taita Taveta, I want you to stop and admire Taita Taveta because it looks differently, because it has a touch of a woman, because it has a different appeal. Those are the things that we're looking at. It's different when you're walking around and you don't think about your shoes because there's dust on them. Women think about their shoes all the time. So it's really, you want to think about the roads, you want to look at them differently. You want to get into spaces and you get into those spaces and you feel, I want to sit here, I want to stay here the whole time because it looks different, it looks appealing.
Just so, like she said, attention to detail.
Attention to detail.
Yes.
That's who we are as women. So for me, every time, and again, as we say, when it comes to positions where we have like a governor and a running mate or a governor and a deputy, the match for me is very critical. That we need to have a woman there, we need to have a man there. Because you represent a different constituency altogether. A man represents a different constituency altogether. True. But when you bring our ideas together, we think differently, but we get to a place where we can say, let's compromise on this. And all genders are represented. And that's why for me, I've been on the out calling out for, you know, can I say combinations that have male-male or combinations that have female-female?
All right.
Because I feel like there's a discrimination right there.
Okay.
We need to be in spaces where decisions are being made.
Yes.
But all genders need to be represented at the decision-making table. Inclusivity is very key, and especially where we are, because we all look at things differently. And of course, when I talk about that, I talk about also gender representation.
Yes.
So if you're going to decide that this is going to be like, for me, my candidacy, I am below 40. My deputy governor is 50, heading to, you know, about 50. So for me, there's a constituency he represents. There's a block that I represent. At the same time, you all need to ensure that there is inclusivity and everyone else is represented at the table. So women bring in a different share altogether.
All right.
They have a different way of thinking. We are keen to detail.
All right. As we come towards the last bit of this show, let me just take a few comments here from our Facebook page. Justo Mashamba here saying Meru County is rising under Edith Mwirigi's leadership. Great interview, Mutala Mukosia there. David Munene from Mwangadhia Ward. I hope I got that right. Engineer Edith Mwirigi representing Meru County and the women of Kenya very well. Great show. Mama Patience Nyange here. Sam Nzuki in Christ says Mama Patience Nyange has an excellent plan for the people of Taita Taveta. The glass ceiling is broken. Go, we got your back. Hashtag Aminia Mama.
Aminia
That's
Mama.
What you did say.
Aminia Mama.
Ibrahim Afande here. I'm tuned from Voi. Aminia Mama. Tano fresh yote yanawezekana. These are some of the comments. Thank you very much for sticking it to TV47 and staying tuned. Remember, you can continue please sending in your comments. There's a question here that did come earlier from one of our viewers. That name. Nzioka Wingiradi. I hope I got that right. He asks here, what are some of the issues? Women leadership is different, but what are some of the issues that they will be addressing in their specific counties that they think women will change and will be different if they have a woman's touch? Let's begin with the engineer here.
When it comes to women, I divide them into two. There's the mature side of women,
yes,
our mothers,
yes,
and then the young girls,
yes,
of Meru County. When it comes to the young girls of Meru County, there are so many challenges these girls go through. There are those girls that there are regions in our county whereby when girls get to grade 7,
yes,
they drop out of school.
Yes, yes.
They believe that from here now I need to get married. So I want to really fight that. Because sometimes dialogue doesn't help. Of course, we need to sensitize the society that we need to educate our girls, we need to educate our children. But now it has gotten to a point whereby I need to, if I get a chance to become the woman representative of Meru, I need to have a sensitization program in our society, to engage committees, to engage members of the society, the mature members of the society, our young people, to let them know that this is not the right thing to do. We need to get our girls, we need to get our young people to high school and to diplomas and to colleges. But we also need to put our society into question. Why do you have a chief? Why do you have an administration in a village whereby a 12-year-old girl is getting married off?
Yes, yes.
Where are you? So that's why now we need to put people into accountability. I also have a plan for the women of Meru. The current woman representative is doing a lot when it comes to women empowerment. She empowers their chamas with affordable loans, some even non-refundable. She gives non-refundable support to the youth, women groups. I'm here to see men groups coming up. I don't know why men don't have such groups. I want to carry on with that. I need to have training. I need to train women, because we have our mothers who are not lucky to go to school, but they're still very industrious in their activities. We need to have our young people who are not employed but they're educated, having a curriculum to train these women on how to manage their finances, on how to choose the right financing. For example, you have financial institutions that give money to these women,
yes,
but they take advantage of them.
Yeah.
I give you 100,000 shillings, but with a hidden cost, with a huge interest amount.
Yes.
No one is there to train these women that this is the right this is the right loan to take. Please avoid this. So we need to do a lot of training to our women and even to the youth groups. It's also I need also to be part of the negotiation team. I need to negotiate with circles, with banks, that these women need this amount of financing, but can we negotiate on a fair interest that you can charge on them? So I want to be like a mediator, to be someone to enlighten the women of Meru on the decision, on the financial institutions, the financial decisions to take, and those those which to avoid. The woman of Meru is very empowered. Let me say that compared to other regions, we've gone steps ahead, but we still have a lot of things to do to get there. So that's my plan for the young girl and to the mature woman of Meru. I also have a plan, a plan, not just for the women of Meru, but also to the young people that need to really further and enhance their education. I want to be part of network creation, to get scholarship for the young girls, for the young men, not just for the women, but in as much as the question was meant for the women.
Yes,
but I have a plan for women and for the young women and men who are in colleges who would like to advance their education.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Mama Patience Nyange, as they have called you here, Sam Nzuki in Christ here has said, what do you think in Taita Taveta County, what do you think will look different with a woman's touch?
Yeah, so first, let's say that my win, especially for this seat, will be a win for the Taita Taveta women. Will also be a win for the girl child, the Kenyan girl child. And for me, one of the key issues that I want to do is to start, it's a journey for redefining the space for women in our society, for defining the space for the Taita woman in our society. We have come a long way to see that a woman's place is not only in the kitchen, but she can also sit comfortably at the boardroom. She can wear her heels and get through the corridors and get to the boardroom, and she can come back and put on her lasso and get to the kitchen and cook for her family and sit by the by the table and fend for her family. That's who we are, and we're able to multitask. So one of the things that we want to do is by just making sure that women are seated in spaces that matter, already redefines the space for women.
Yes.
So we want to address issues to do with early child marriages. It is rampant in my community, and of course, as it is now, we want to see that we're trying to do everything that will come up with strategies that will ensure 100% transition rate for women and for young girls, all the way from primary school to high school and also universities. For the very first time, we want to ensure that girls, and of course not really girls only, but students who get to go to national schools, for example, they will have their school fees paid by the county. For those who make it to universities, they will also have their school fees paid by the county. And we are encouraging young girls to ensure that they work extremely hard so that they can secure these spaces. So complete transition rate for for young girls and for women into the spaces that matter in universities, in high schools. That's really one of our considerations. We also want to see that we can connect women to financial institutions where women, and like in my community, they are already in groups. So it's very easy to mobilize women.
Yes.
Because most of the time, as compared to men, women are already in groups.
Yeah, they come together.
They come together. In church after church, women are meeting. When you go to villages, women are meeting in villages. When you go to, every small cohort of women, they have their own group. They're table bank. I'm always fundraising for women. There's table banking for women. They are women who,
chamas.
There's so many chamas, and almost every person feels like I need to be in a chama.
Yes.
Even for me, I don't know. I've registered for is it 5 or 6 or 8 chamas within Taita for the last 1 year.
Yes.
Though I have always been in chamas with my girlfriends before. So I think for me, it's already a source of support system for women, and therefore getting investments for them is a good thing.
Yes.
One of the things that we want to do for women in Taita is to connect them to institutions that already have, and because I come from a human rights background, I am really a champion for women and girls' rights.
Yes.
And so I have connections with many women groups, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to use my connections to bring them back home to try and see that we can easily bring together all the women and see that they can get help in trying to, have their own investment groups. The other thing is to try and see that we talk about gender-based violence. It's also rampant in my community, but creating safe houses for women.
Yes.
Creating shelter homes for them.
Quite non-existent at the moment.
Rescue centers, yes. So that we can try and see, can we rescue our women? That there's more to life than, being in an abusive relationship. That you can actually continue and live a better life outside that, unity. So we want to try and see that we make women feel loved, make women feel that their space is honored and dignified.
Well,
that's what we want to do. So there's going to be a look for women differently in Taita Taveta County.
Well, thank you very much to both of you. Waheshimiwa watarajiwa, let me say that. Expected waheshimiwas here, Women Representative of Meru County, Engineer Edith Mwirigi, as well as Mama Patience Nyange, Gubernatorial Aspirant in Taita Taveta County, for making time for this particular show, and as well for you for joining us and sending in your questions and your comments. There's nothing more that I can add. I'd leave you with a quote from Michelle Obama, who said, "No country can ever